Hello, welcome to the Food Bank of Northwest Indiana TV, proudly produced by the Bill and Kelly Show. And with us today, we have Victor Garcia, who's the CEO and president of the Food Bank. And we have Amy Dunn, who is the or I should say coordinator, right? Your social media activities
Yeah.
coordinator. And then we have Mary Frances Trucco, who is the Director of Public Affairs for Jewel Osco. Then, of course, we have Ellison Box, who is the Vice President of the Food Bank of Northwest Indiana. We are so honored that you're all here to talk to us about the Hunger Action Month, which is this month of September. And there's a special relationship between the food bank and Jewel Osco. Jewel Osco is stepping up to be the major sponsor of the Hunger Action Month, and we would like to thank them for that. That's in these times, it's any help that the food bank can get. It is really appreciated. So, Victor, why don't you start out and tell us a bit about Hunger Action Month and how it came to be and what type of activities the food bank has during that month.
Sure. Well, thank you, Bill. And Hunger Action Month is such a critical opportunity for the food bank to share not only information about who we are and what we do to the general public, but it's also an opportunity for us to do a little extra, right? So as we're getting into the holiday season, Hunger Action Month is an opportunity for us to share all the great work that we've been doing, the great work we plan on doing, while at the same time enhancing some of the programs that we do. So we have been doing activities, and we have activities scheduled the entire month. Just recently, and I'm sure we're going to talk about this a little bit, but this past Saturday we had Ride the Region here at the food bank, which was a fun event where we had motorcyclists from across Lake and Porter County ride through all of our streets. The team did a wonderful job, but we have a lot planned, and it's not just in events, Bill, but it's also in expanded programming. So as we talk about Hunger Action Month and the fun activities that we have for people to engage either as volunteers or as donors, it's also important to remember that we are enhancing our mobile market distributions. We have two what we call mega mobile market distributions happening, one in Lake County and one in Porter County. Now here on September 12th, we'll be here at the food bank. And the difference with these mega mobile market distributions is not only are we planning on serving more households, but we're enhancing the amount of groceries that we're distributing. So when we say mega, it's going to be mega. And Allison and her team have done a great job in sourcing financial supporters like Jewel Osco to help us get those groceries and pair them with our donated product, some of the product that we might have from the USDA, and also purchase product that we were able to source with funds that are generated by very generous corporate partners like Jewel Osco.
Victor, before we go on, would you mind sharing with us some of the staggering figures out there, some of the pre-pandemic and then now what you're having to serve during the pandemic?
Sure, and I can tell you, the year-over-year numbers are just staggering, but even just looking at the start of this year and the January and February numbers, our mobile market distributions. Now, Bill, I want to remind you and all of our viewers that mobile market is our largest program. However, that is not the core way that we distribute food. Our partner agencies are how we primarily distribute our food through the community with our over 110 pantries and soup kitchens that are doing a lot of work right now. But for the food bank's primary program, our mobile market distributions, we're serving around 6,000 individuals in January and February. And on average now for the last couple of months, we've been serving well over 13,000 per month. So the numbers have been staggering. And I can tell you that in the height of the COVID crisis, we saw this increase in demand, and it really hasn't diminished. Unfortunately, as we're starting to feel that some of our community is getting back to normal, a lot of our friends and neighbors are still in significant need. And I'll give you an example, Bill. Last year was a record year for the Food Bank of Northwest Indiana. We distributed over 6 million pounds of food in the year of 2019. So far, year to date, we've distributed over 7 million pounds of food in 2020. So not only have we gone over what we did in a record year, we still have months to go. And to kind of put that in a little bit more of a perspective, 7 million pounds of food is about 5.8, 5.9 million meals.
Wow.
So let that sink in, Bill. 5.8 to 5.9 million meals is what the food bank has been able to distribute just year to date in 2020. And we don't anticipate that these levels will go down anytime soon. In fact, we're building plans on how we're going to be able to sustain our enhanced programming through the remainder of 2020 and going well into 2021. And honestly, it's only possible when we have the continued strong support of not only our community, but also our community of corporate sponsors like Jewel Osco that have really stepped up and risen to the challenge to help us get the resources that we need so that we can continue these mobile market distributions. As you may remember, Bill, normally we only do 2 mobile distributions a week, and we're currently doing 6 a week. And that's in addition to the enhanced programming that we created with our Pantry Pack program, where we're doing home delivered meals and groceries. And in addition to our state, the largest program in the state of Indiana, and CSFP, which is the Commodity Supplemental Food Program, which is aimed at seniors who are struggling and are food insecure. Those programs are all enhanced, all looking at not only serving more people, but doing it in the safest way as possible. As a reminder, our mobile market distributions with anybody is welcome to come take advantage of our drive-through only. So there's limited person-to-person contact. Individuals should feel comfortable to reach out to the food bank and ask for a little bit of help.
And that's one thing I want to remind the viewers and listeners out there is that during the pandemic, of course, not only did your clientele increase, but also your cost of operating increased drastically because now you had to provide PPE for your the staff and volunteers, and then also, and before I turn it over entirely, if you can talk about the impact it's had on the volunteers because you've had to stage back that as well, which again is another concern that the food bank has, is because although the outtake is definitely increasing, you're challenged by getting that food out there because of the pandemic.
That's correct. And the lifeblood of our food bank is our volunteers. We had over 4,000 volunteers in 2019. Obviously, that number has gone down as we've limited our volunteer opportunities during our response to the COVID crisis. However, we are ramping back up to volunteer opportunities. So I'm glad you brought that up, Bill. So it is twofold. One, it's not just the financial resources. We do need that. We're very fortunate to have a donation of a refrigerated trailer. It's about a 26-foot trailer, which expanded our capacity for product that we have here at the food bank. But unfortunately, it runs on diesel, and that's costing us anywhere between $20 and $40 a day, depending on what temperature the ambient temperature outdoors is or the temperature of the product needs to be. So it is additional cost that a lot of times we don't think about. It's not just the purchase of the food, but it might be fuel costs for our trucks as we're expanding programming. Our NIPSCO bill, I mean, we have a fairly large NIPSCO bill, and I know they expect to get paid, and they should be, but all of these little hard costs that are lying there that we do have to pay attention to is very critical that we continue our fundraising efforts so that we can maintain our level of service. However, we're very excited that a big piece of why we've been able to expand to the level that we've expanded to is we've had the Indiana National Guard deployed to our food bank, which has provided anywhere between 26 and 28 full-time employees for us. Unfortunately, we just found out that that deployment ends on September 30th. So we will be requiring a significant number of volunteers to not only keep up the levels that we were at prior to the crisis, but now that we've expanded programming, we're going to need even more help. So I know Allison and her team have been working diligently on building those plans. But for anyone watching, if you're interested in helping the food bank, and maybe times are a little tough right now, but you have time on your hands, we can take all donations, whether that's time, talent, or treasure. So please reach out to us here at the food bank. You can click on foodbanknwi.org and just click on the volunteer button and register to volunteer. or register to participate in one of our events like the upcoming Hunger Hike.
Yeah, and let's talk a bit about those. And Amy and Allison, if you want to jump in and talk about the events that you've had and some of the things that you brought in volunteers and also the partnerships that you've had out there in the community.
Thank you, Bill. I am just really grateful for the opportunity to have us all sit together and talk through Hunger Action Month. What you're doing today is exactly what we need in order to just make everyone aware of how important just attention to the hunger needs of our community are. So much of what Victor said, I won't repeat, but that's the information that we want the public to know, that there are still people who are daily dealing with this as a challenge, and we are doing as much as we possibly can to be a help in so many different and dynamic ways. We're grateful. We have so many partners who willingly, even before we could ask for help with dealing with the pandemic, we didn't even know what we needed, but we knew that whatever it was going to require financial resources that we hadn't budgeted for. We had a good, robust budget that allowed us to expand in some areas and really increase our impact in 2020, but we didn't plan for a pandemic. I don't think anybody did. When partners like Jewel Osco stepped up and just continued to support us with financial resources, it made everything that needed to be done possible. And so I love to share this time with Mary Frances from Jewel, just to talk about how Jewel responded to the pandemic and to the needs of the community by collaborating with food banks. Mary Frances, would you mind sharing?
Absolutely, absolutely, Allison. Thank you so much. You know what? We just have great customers, and our customers are the ones who have stepped up the plate here at the register and have donated some more than $200,000 to the Food Bank of Northwest Indiana since March. First, let me start with in September, as you're talking about Hunger Action Month. Jewel Osco's got the Nourishing Neighbors, this breakfast campaign that we're currently running at all of our stores, 187 stores. We have 4 in Northwest Indiana at the registers. So anybody who donates to that 1, 3, or 5 at the register, that money goes to the Nourishing Neighbors breakfast programs, and the Food Bank of Northwest Indiana is recipient of some of that money coming from that. But secondly, since March, we've had the Nourishing Neighbors COVID register campaign going. And, our company saw the need out there. We are all about being out in the community, helping the community. And the need was growing and growing, and people losing their jobs and more people having to turn to food banks for help. Well, our customers since March have been unbelievable at all 187 stores and donating. We've raised more than $4 million and being able to give to various food banks, including the Food Bank of Northwest Indiana. So I can't thank our customers enough, and they are the reason that we've been able to help so many people. So thank you to any of our customers who are watching or listening out there. It's so appreciative. But we also we love the partnership with the Food Bank of Northwest Indiana. We've had a long-standing partnership with them. Allison is terrific to work with. I've worked with her now for years. I consider her a friend, and it's nice to meet everybody else who's on board now that I haven't had a chance to meet before. But it's just a great partner, and we are so thankful to be out there in the community in Northwest Indiana and doing what we can as a company.
Yeah, and it is amazing that there are partners out there like Jewel and Osco to step up and help during this time and truly give back to the community. Yeah, we want to thank you for that. And I want to tell you, Mary Frances, these folks that are virtually sitting around you are our heroes. We acknowledge that every time we go out to work with them and every show that we do with them. Literally, because there's some people in this pandemic, people don't realize that, they can apply for unemployment, they can apply for food stamps. Those processes have been 3 or 4 times fold. It have been the time to get that is just unbelievable right now. And I've talked to people that are independent contractors have been hit the hardest because they right now have no money. And so folks like the food bank are there for them, and it's one thing I constantly remind people: in these times, there's no shame. If you need to get your family food, by all means, they can go to the food bank website or to the Facebook page and get the schedule of their mobile markets. And besides the two major ones they're going to have in Lake and Porter County, like Victor said, they have a number of them during the week throughout Lake and Porter County. So that's great. So, and Amy, you're kind of quiet up there. You want to talk to us a bit about, because you're kind of like the person after they press the go button, you're the person that goes out and
Right.
starts coordinating stuff. So your role up there, even though you're quiet, is not diminished at all, because you have a very important role at the food bank in coordinating all these events like the hunger hike and the Ride the Region. Why don't you give us a little bit more detail about what happened at the hunger hike and how that went?
Oh, for sure. Yeah, so Ride the
Or
Region
to Ride the
was,
Region. I'm
yeah, it
sorry.
was,
I stepped
oh yes,
ahead.
no
Sorry.
problem. Yes, so Ride the Region was this Saturday. It was a big success. We had so many motorcyclists come out. We rode 80 miles throughout Northwest Indiana, just going around the whole scope of the service area where hunger lives. So that was very impactful for those motorcyclists to see, you know, all the area where people are hungry and where our services go to help people in need in our community. So that was a huge success. I'm currently just tying all the loose ends up for Hunger Hike, which is Saturday, September 19th. That's just where families, friends, and corporations can walk, run, or bike to support hunger relief in our community. It's gonna be from 9 a.m. to 12 p.m. at Living Hope Church, which is 9000 Taft Street in Maryville. That's gonna be so much fun. We're gonna have a warm-up led by an aerobics instructor. Then the hike is gonna start at 10 a.m., which will be 2 miles just around the beautiful surrounding area of Living Hope Church. We're gonna have a DJ, there's gonna be a kids area with a whole prize tent, games, raffles. We're gonna have inflatable games, an inflatable obstacle course. And along the route, we're gonna have cheer volunteers to motivate our walkers and runners, some from actual cheer groups from like high schools and middle schools around the area, and some just being our community members and volunteers who wanna come out and show their support. So this whole event, we're really excited to just put on an event for the community, as so many people in our community have supported us you know, throughout all the years, but especially during this time. We're really excited to see everyone come out together as a community and just stand up against hunger during this time. So we want to encourage everyone watching to come out with their friends, create a team to walk on September 19th. So they can do that by going to foodbanknwi.org/hike and create a team and sign up.
Awesome.
And then, Bill, I just wanted to briefly add, the hunger hike is significant for another reason. This is the one time during the year that our agencies get an opportunity to raise funds to replenish their pantries. So we have 111, it's more than that now, 111 plus partner agencies, and they actually form teams with their supporters, members, and raise funds, and those transition to food credits with the Food Bank of Northwest Indiana, and it helps them operate all year. So it's a really big deal. When you go to the Hunger Hike site, like Amy mentioned, you can see the agencies that are participating, and it's most of them. They're actually starting, the rest of them are starting to register now. You can see what they're participating, what their goals are, and even support an agency directly by just clicking, you know, the agency and contributing to them rather than to the food bank. It all rolls into the same pot and gets divvied up between the agencies, but still you're directly supporting an agency in your community to help them support your local neighbors. And that's why the hunger hike is so important. I also want to quickly mention too that it's social distance. If you're watching this and you're wondering how in the world are we going to host a walk, we're hosting it. It's probably the first walk in the area that is not virtual. So we're test dummies. But we have Amy, Jamie, and our other Amy have done an amazing job building a safe, social, distanced event, and we want you to actually come out and participate in the hunger hike. So yeah.
Yeah, that sounds like fun. And that's one thing I want to mention is my experience with all the events that the food bank puts on is, although the mission is serious, not to take away from that, but they're fun. They're really fun. I remember the soup, the one that we did with the soup right around, was it Christmas time, was it? Or no, that was the the super bowl. Yeah, that was great. That was fun. Awesome fun. It had a lot of neat foods there and whatnot. So this is great. And one thing I do want to bring up, because a lot of people question, gosh, how can the food bank do this, especially with the increase in volume? And it's those agencies that you have agreements with. And that's something people have to keep in mind. They need help just as well. They're non-profits and are suffering some of the same things with volunteers that the food bank is. But it's kind of like this octopus effort that the food bank supplies them, and they are on the ground helping you all get the food out there to the communities that are really in need. Because the other thing that we have a problem with is some of these poor folks, when their income is taken away, they have no transportation, and they're looking for some place that they can either walk to or get a friend to drive them to that is convenient for them. So that is marvelous, and so everyone should remember those and try to support them as well. So
Bill, I do want to jump in there just to give an idea. As we mentioned, that our mobile market distributions are at record levels. Serving that around 13,000, 14,000 individuals each month. Our network of agencies are serving between 25 and 30,000 individuals each month. So again, the lion's share of the product that is getting out into the community to support those that are food insecure is coming through those agencies. And that's why Hunger Hike is so critical. I just had a conversation last week with the leader of one of our largest partners in Gary, and they're concerned because by the end of this month, all of the funds that they have for their pantry will be dried up because the demand has been so high. And so we're trying to identify new ways and unique ways that we can help support their efforts in addition to what we're already doing. But the Hunger Hike is such an important piece to that. So it's exciting, it's fun, yes, but it's important work that we come out and get together for the Hunger Hike on September 19th at Living Hope Church. Now, the other thing I want to mention, though, Bill, is we did kind of hit a little bit about the mega mobile markets in Lake County on September 12th and in Porter County on September 26th. But for those of you who are listening, if either you yourself or someone you know might need some food supports, you can text Food Bank NWI to 50155. And we will automatically send you every day, every mobile market distribution that we're going to be at. So every distribution that happens that we are supporting on our mobile market platform, you'll get a text message. It'll tell you where we're at and what time. And it's a great tool to know, to your point, Bill, about that barrier in transportation. If we're going to be in, let's say, East Chicago today, but tomorrow we're going to be in Lake Station and the following day we're in Portage. If you're living in that community, you can see if there's a place that's easier for you to get to if you have a need for some additional help. So I would encourage everyone. I use it all the time. It's great to see where the team's at. But again, it's Food Bank NWI to 50155.
That's good. Boy, this has been great information. Before we start wrapping things up, is there anything else anyone would like to share? No? Wow.
Well, I will jump in. I know Ellison's going to want to say it. So
Victor, we could always leave it up to you.
Thank you to not only the Bill and Callie Show for being great supporters all year round, but also for Jewel Osco for being such a leader in our fight against hunger here in Northwest Indiana, but not just here, in their entire footprint of stores that they support our country. So I do want to thank Mary Frances and her team, all the folks at Jewel Osco, and honestly, more importantly, the customers from Jewel Osco and those direct service workers in the stores that are asking that question of, would you like to support the Food Bank of Northwest Indiana? It's a combination of all those individuals just doing that one step or that $1, that one gift, that one thing that needs to happen so that we can help one family. So for that, thank you, Mary Frances. We really appreciate it.
Thank you.
You're welcome. And once again, thank you to our customers, as you mentioned, because they're the reason for all of the money we've been able to donate, and keeping it local is absolutely so important to us, and being out in our community as we have been for years, and we'll continue to do that. And we can only hope that things get better.
Yeah. And gosh, I just want to wrap things up by, again, thanking all of you for what you do for the community. Kelly asked me to do this. I know it gets embarrassing when we do it, but we do the not worthy bow, from we're not worthy. We truly are in your presence. You guys are superheroes and rock stars of the region. And I don't want anyone to forget about that. That's huge, what you guys do. Right along with the medical first responders and everyone out there. You guys are right along in the front line with them because you're saving people's lives day by day. So we appreciate that. Well, with that, thank you for all you guys do. And great luck. We'll be there at the Hike for Hunger. So we'll be shooting some video and going around and remaining social distance, being safe. So, well, we'll wrap things up. Again, thank you very much, Mary Frances. Thank you for joining us today. And Ellison, Victor, and Amy, thank you for all you do. And with that, we'll say goodbye for now. Goodbye, everybody.
Goodbye. Thank you.
Bye, Bill. Thank you.
This episode of The Bill and Callie Show is brought to you by
Dutch Farms, maintaining a family tradition of quality for over 91 years.